I am live with information on the upcoming Jupiter-Uranus Square. So let me just check real quick to see the exact timing of that alignment. Okay, so the Jupiter-Uranus Square goes exact at 22:49 Universal Time on the 17th of January. That is in roughly 2 hours and 40 2 hours and 40 minutes from now, roundabout. So, that's what we're going to be talking about today, and that's what we're going to be focusing on. And let me just turn off the sound on my other phone to make sure we don't get interrupted. So, we'll do hellos and stuff later. I want to give people some time to pile on so that we can have our group conversation. It's a very important day. There are very important alignments happening in the skies. And it's very important that we take cognizance of what's happening and what all of us can do with it. So let's just give a minute. And whilst we're just giving a minute, I am going to say hi to who's here. So, hello, Lady Luck. Hello, Coyote Prophet. Nice to see you. Hello, Christine. Hello, Samantha and Kleb. Hello, Alexandra, my bestest friend in the whole wide world. Hello, Dara. Nice to see all of you. So, okay. Hello, Megan. Yes, you've just made a live on time. We're just waiting for a minute, giving people the opportunity to show up before I start getting into things hardcore. Hello, Humane Human. Hello, Megan. Hello, Love Child. Hello, Lumi. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, Joyous Day. Hello, Susie. Good. Quite a few people on. It seems like a while since I did my last live. It's not been that long, but it feels long. Hello, Lauren. Nice to see all of you. I just got a message from someone crying, going, just when I start my classes. But don't worry, you can get this on the replay. Hello, Julie. Hello, Nalini. Hello, Lady. Hello, Shin. Hello, Angela. Hello, Osset. Hello, Wichita Chick from Oklahoma. Hello to everyone. So I think this is probably a good time to begin, and let's get into it. So, like I said, we are just about to feel the exact alignment between Jupiter and Uranus in the skies. Jupiter is at 6 degrees of Aquarius, and Uranus is at 6 degrees of Taurus, and they're both going to square each other in just about 2 hours, 40 minutes or so. So, what does this mean? Why is it important? What are each of us supposed to be doing with all of this is what we're going to be talking about today. So let's take a little step back. I was just finishing, sending out my Tier 23 transcriptions. You get a recording and a written summary of the work, when I send it out. And so I was just writing it all down and making sure that it was accessible. And so, of course, I knew it's also important to make this accessible to everyone else as well, which is why we're doing this. So, anyone who's been paying attention to astrology, even the teeniest, most simplest of astrology, knows that, from the very start of January, we've been seeing this really, really intense activation of planets between the signs of Taurus and Aquarius. So it's Mars and Uranus and Taurus. And obviously, it's Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, but we're also seeing quite a few other things come in as well. So I'm just going to refer to what I've already written and sent out. Hang on. And I put some good words here, which is why I'm reading it out. So the Taurus Uranus activations began way early, way early in the month of January. We've got Mars and Uranus and Taurus, Mercury, the Sun, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn either already in Aquarius or coming into it. And really, it's not been a peaceful start of the year for this exact reason. If we think about Taurus and Aquarius, they're both fixed energies. Taurus is all about holding a certain structure of matter, of being, of presence, and a certain value and a certain order that says matter has to flow this way, energy has to be consolidated this way, the body has to be formed this way, and this is the value you place on all of that. So that's that real entrenchment of Taurian energy. Remember, this is the bull. This is the bull. This is the kind of presence that moves through the soil slowly, slowly, slowly. And, all of these energies have been triggered, they have been activated. So, a lot of people are having health crises, sudden realizations and awareness around money, a need to get a lot more focused, grounded, and practical. And all of these awakenings have been erupting. Because if we look at what it's been squaring, it's the energy of Aquarius. Yes, it's called the water bearer, but it's not water, water. It's more like the etheric waters. And that's the fixed air sign. And the Aquarian energies are all about fixing and holding together a certain way of perceiving things. So Taurus is fixing and holding together a certain way of embodying and doing things. And Aquarius is trying to fix together a certain way of thinking, perceiving, analyzing, connecting, and expanding. And they're both in clashing, they're both in conflict right now. So the Aquarian energy deals with technology, social media, innovations, revolutions, change in perception. It deals a lot with ETs and the astral realm. And these energies have also been stirred up. So as they are clashing, what we're really seeing is the earth kind of feeling the ripple effects of these two trying to find what is the new order, what is the new order of matter, what is the new order of the ethers. And this is where there's this conflict. This is it's a tug of war, it's a push and pull, and it's not going to be dying down for a while. So for example, just to give you a couple of dates, or rather ranges of dates, Mercury in Aquarius aspected, or rather, aspected Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, and Uranus between January 9 to 12. And then it will go on to aspect the Sun, Mars, and Jupiter once again between February 10 to the 14 because of its upcoming retrograde in Aquarius. So Mercury started but hasn't finished. Mars in Taurus aspected Mercury on January the 9th. And then between, and this is coming up, January 13th to the 23rd, Mars will be aspecting Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter. So the second and third weeks of this month are going to be very, very volatile. On the February the 1st, Mars will aspect the Sun and it'll aspect Mercury retrograde on February the 10th. So there's a lot of energy clashing in the skies with Mars, Saturn, and Uranus right now, and of course Jupiter. The Sun in Aquarius will be doing all of these aspects to Saturn, Uranus, Jupiter, Mars, and Mercury between January the 24th to February the 8th. So that's when all of these things that you just finish one phase and then the next phase gets re-triggered and reactivated again. And then Venus in Aquarius comes along and does the same damn thing between February 3rd to the 13th. So you can see something that started in January just keeps going and going and going all the way till Valentine's Day. And we're not even talking about the Saturn-Uranus squares yet. So that's why I'm trying to give you a sense of length, of duration. This is a drawn out affair. It's a very drawn out affair. It's not just one day where this major thing explodes. This is going to be lasting for weeks. Now, some of the key dates are, of course, today, Jupiter squaring Uranus. This is a huge deal, and we will talk about why. Another key date is January 28th in terms of universal time, where we see a full moon in Leo aspecting Saturn, Chiron, Uranus, Jupiter, and Mars. It's just bringing all of these Aquarian energies that have just been shaking up things in the ethers, things in the astral realm, things in the biology, things in finances, things in the economy, and all of these shakeups are being channeled into the full moon in Leo. January 28th, and on February the 11th, we see a very powerful new moon in Aquarius on the same day that Venus and Jupiter will also be conjunct in Aquarius. We have the opportunity to focus and set more intentions and seeds for change, change, change. So, honestly, and of course, we have the upcoming Mercury retrograde as well. So, a lot of what we're doing now, we're going to have to revisit anyway. So, this is the great churning. This is a great phase of churning, of transformation. Up is down, left is right. And this is one of the reasons why I said 2021 is a mixed bag. We are having to shake up everything that we know so that we can actually break into the new. Because, sometimes what we really need to allow to let happen is the fact that with new energy come new possibilities, come new avenues of growth and expression. And if we don't realize just how large the scope of transformation is, instead of allowing the old to fade away and the new to take its place, we then end up empowering the fixity and the stubbornness that Taurus and Aquarius can bring. And when we have that type of resistance that says, I know what I want, no, no, I know what I want, it's like, you're pressing both your fingers together and they're both so certain, you get stuck. So for people who are feeling that rigidity, who are feeling that stuckness, look at what you're holding on to. If you want movement, you got to change the way things are done. And in a nutshell, that's the kind of lesson of juggling, of being aware that this entire phase of Taurus clashing with Aquarius is bringing to our awareness. If you're going to go head on, you're going to get stuck and someone's going to break a finger. But if you want to flow, you got to do things differently. So what can you change? What approach in your life can you tweak? Can you adjust? Can you orient? Not because you don't deserve something good, not because you're scared, not because someone else told you to, but perhaps there is a better way for you to be doing things and thinking about things to manifest an outcome beyond your own expectations. So if you think about Taurus, yes, that's material manifestation. Yes, that's money. Yes, that's self-worth. Yes, that's the body. And when you think about Aquarius, yes, that's about collective consciousness. That's about groups. That's about getting together to do things, you know? Now, for those of you who just got here, please go back to the beginning. You're going to need to go back to the beginning to get the context of all of this. Now, I would honestly say one of the best things that people can be doing right now is to put their money where their mouth is. There's a lot of talk about the collective. There's a lot of talk about awareness and consciousness, but there's not enough people investing practically and sustainably into that future. So do concrete things, commit to concrete projects, invest in concrete things and people who are doing the work of raising consciousness in the world. Everyone is in their own way, but let's face it, for some people, working in the trenches and battling with energies every day is what they do, and others are a little bit more removed from that focal point of attention. These people need support. Support and nurture people not just because of the work that they're doing, but also perhaps because they simply need that support and there's no one else to do it. Without falling into that whole victim, martyr, savior archetype, start getting together and doing things that really create that safety net. And I've been talking about that for a while. But talk is cheap. Talk is real cheap. Unless you actually do something, even if it's a token amount, even if you don't earn much, if you earn $100 and you give even $5 to charity, you're a saint. But unless you actually do something with the resources that you have, and a lot of people like to downgrade money, but it's not a good thing because unless you are a fat cat capitalist and you sit on your butt and you just earn millions a day, your money is a reflection of your time, your energy, your emotion, your effort, doing something that a lot of the time is not really what you'd want to be doing. And you're missing out on a lot of other things that you would otherwise be doing. It is a reflection of your commitment and time. Honor it, honor you, and have the guts to actually walk your talk. And that's what we've got to be doing. That's it in a nutshell. Now, in terms of, I know I'm looking at some of the, the questions that are also coming in at the same time. Um, some of you want to know what's going on in the US and how this is going to relate to it. I would honestly say there's going to be a lot more conflict coming up because there's going to be a lot of stubborn, hard-headed people who want things done their way. And this is why we all got to stand together. I would also say people who are in especially violent or volatile domestic arrangements should also look at protecting themselves and their loved ones, especially around the time of the inauguration, because there's going to be a lot of collective triggering that's going to be happening exactly on that day. I'm really not happy with the date, but that it is what it is. Now, looking at questions, let me see if there are any specific questions that have come up around what I've said so far. Um, okay. Does planetary mantras help these clashing energies? No. The only thing that can help you manage to navigate the clash is yourself. A planetary mantra can actually anchor the wrong vibration or frequency of a planet unless you know specifically what that mantra is about. And if the astrological system that gives you that mantra is skewed or biased or limited in its understanding, you will also miss out. So, unless it's a damn good mantra created by a damn good system that understands it in and out, it might actually do more harm rather than good. Advice for people at Taurus Sun: let it go and go with the flow. Let's see. Okay, okay, yep. So I'd say those are the key questions I see so far. If there's anything else, let me know. But that's what I wanted to share with you in terms of astrology. I want to talk to you now about an experience I had today, because astrology is it's an intellectual expression of what I'm feeling, what you're feeling, what everyone's feeling anyway. Today I had the rare privilege of meeting someone whose entire family follows me. And I'm not, I think you should know by now, I'm not the type of person who easily gets, what's the word, who easily gets affected by praise. Someone goes, oh, I've been following you, I'm not going to like bend over backwards or something. I'm going to be like, oh, okay, thank you, let's get on with the work. But I had this rare privilege of meeting someone who in the was had a certain quality of devotion. And I noticed the numbers falling because people don't want that insight. They just want the astrology. Well, good luck to them. They had a certain quality of devotion. And something so special happened. So I was talking to them. I've been helping them through a tough time. And they reached out to me and they said, thank you for the work that you have done. Thank you for what you have shared about yourself, about what you're doing, about how you're doing it, because that gives us hope that we can have a change in our lives. And I was like very moved, right? I was like, thank you, that's why we do this work and so on and so forth. The thing that really reached out and just moved me was when this family introduced their daughter to me. And this little girl, she looked like an angel. And she had been going through horrible things like bullying and so on and so forth. But you could still see that there was so much light in this girl's face. And I was just like, oh, hello, and that kind of thing, just to say hi to this little girl. And she just took one look at me because she watches my videos. And she immediately just did this. And I could have cried. I could have cried. It was just something that she did so spontaneously from the center of her heart that it's one of those reminders as to why this work is so important. Why is it so important to speak to people? Why is it so important to guide people as best as one can? Because you never know who's listening. And it could be a child listening to you, and through you finding the strength to carry on through a very difficult circumstance in life. To me, that was that Aquarian effect. I mean, yes, technology has brought a lot of shit, but it's also brought some benefits. People have found ways to be comforted, to be nurtured, to be guided, by obviously using your due diligence and discernment. Technology has connected us in deeply profound ways, and we do not know the full effect of what we do or what we say or who we are. And that was one of those rare moments where I just could feel it just straight into my core. It took me about half an hour just to be able to move on to something else, but it was just the most beautiful thing. It came straight from her heart. There was no fakery, no nothing. A child did this. A child recognized that light. A child recognized this work. And I can honestly say that is one of the most humbling things that I have experienced. Of course, she was super shy, but that was very sweet as well. But to me, I mean, you know, that's what this is about. That's what creating a safety net can be. When you put yourself out there, and mind you, when you do public work, there's a lot of risks that go into it. There's a lot of enmity that comes from people. There are a lot of attacks that come from people. Anyone who does psychic spiritual work and facilitation and has a public presence has to deal with it. It's not just about saying, well, hello, today I'm going to talk about our chakras, and then we're going to cleanse, and then we're going to go and chant this, and then, oh, here's our singing bowl. It's not that. When you do this work for real, it moves people at an energetic level and in a way that stirs something. And when you do any kind of psychic work, you're not just talking to that person. You're talking to that person's ancestry. You're talking to that person. You're talking to their descendants. You're talking to their past lives. You're talking to their present life. You're talking to their future potentials. And it is so profound and humbling to see when you are able to make that difference. So to me, that's what, the Jupiter-Uranus square has been manifesting as. It's that confirmation. And you know what I'm like about kids? We are, side players. This is a planet that is for them. And everything that we do now at this late stage in the game needs to be with that thought in mind. And for me, that's what I have been getting, what I have been feeling. This most strongest, most powerful, most sincere message of guidance came from that little child. But yeah, that's one of those events I'll never forget in my life, ever, ever. But I wanted to share that with you. Um, you know, but then again, I'm a Cappy. That's the kind of thing that. But anyway, that was pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing. Um, let's see. Yes, Lady Owl says it's a big responsibility. Yep, it is. It is. It is. Now, another thing that I want to talk to you about, and this is more about the spirit and the feeling of things, and that's why, you know, that's why um, that's why you listen to me, basically. It's not just about the words and the numbers and the aspects and whatnot. At the end of the day, astrology is just a lens. It's just a lens to see truth. It's just a lens to see spirit. And today I was talking to, I think it might have been the same person actually. And so we're talking about this really complicated legal situation that's full of all kinds of dense structures and every single door saying, no, you're going to fail, or no, this is not going to happen. And, so what I felt deep from within her, what I felt deep from within her, and what came through is here is where the work has to be right now. Because when we come from here, when we come from the mind knows some things. It's useful. It's a useful tool. It's a powerful tool, but it has its limitations. So when you have half of a picture and you fixate on half of that picture, the other half may never come into focus because you're too busy looking at everything that you've painstakingly tried to find out. But from here, we see more than we can ever know. And this is a time where, and this is going to be a phase for several years, but especially these next few months is like the preparation for so many more changes. It truly feels like a time of miracles where anything is possible, but it has to come from here. It has to radiate out from you that which you are, that which you desire, that which you will be. Desire is too soft a word, but that which your soul is calling you to manifest. It must be birthed from here, it must be born from here. And so when I was talking to her about these very dense things, I said, no, you start from here. Because it's almost like one of the ways we are being called to shift these fixed structures that are in such powerful contest with each other is to push outwards. And we forget our ability to create change through that push. Now, let's not diss prayers. Prayers are extremely effective. They are extremely, extremely effective. But it takes a bit of muscle to do them. When you're actually praying, if you're doing any kind of healing modality, you can just say, okay, I'm sending you healing done by. That's not healing. But when you actually sit with it and send energy to a situation, there is a focus, there is a practice, there is a discipline. And that's the discipline that I'm asking all of us in our own lives, in our own ways to push out at this time. There are some points where I'm going to say, in the journey, you know what, take a step back, look at what's happening, and then decide. But this is a time where we need to radiate whatever intent, whatever soul, whatever force, whatever consciousness, whatever will that we have. It has to be pushed out as this beacon. That is our greatest shield. Remember, I told you in a previous video, love is the sanctuary, love is the sword, love is the shield. That's where it has to come from. And even if you don't know what your vision is, your ability to push, to radiate that consciousness, that presence from your heart center, is probably one of the most integrated and powerful psychic exercises of the world. Spirituality is fucking simple. Probably should watch my language because I know kids are watching, but they're used to me by now, I guess. Spirituality is simple. It is so ridiculously simple. But people try to tell you that it's not because you can't build a mystery school if you don't. But because it's so simple, it's also so powerful. This is all the power that you need. What you have within you is capable of creating, unmaking, and imagining futures that your mind will never know. And that is the power that I would say all of us need to be tapping into now. Now, when people talk about the heart center, because if you think about the heart and Valentine's Day, it's this sappy, waffy, hallmark version of love. And that's not what the heart chakra is about. That is detachment. It's a kind of love that can hold, but it can also cut because it is truly looking at the greatest well being for all involved, including the self. It's not cuddly, it's the kind of energy that is a beacon, an awareness, and a truth in and of itself. And if you don't know what that is, look at things that truly move you, that move you in a way almost to the point where it starts not quite like pain, not like chest pain, but almost to the point, my brother's laughing, almost to the point where you feel so full of that emotion and intensity, almost to the point that it starts hurting. That's how powerful that exercise and that practice can be. And each of us are moved by different things. So there is no one size fits all recipe from it. I remember once, several years back, um, I was having an issue because I'd been taking too many things and too many projections in my life, and I could not tap into my emotions. And I tried homeopathy. I'm not dissing homeopathy, but the person I was working with she was better talking to me just as a person rather than a homeopath. Let's put it that way. And finally, she was like, just do something that, makes you feel. And for me, at that point of time, the thing that really got me bawling is this cartoon called Land Before Time, which is a story about a little dinosaur named Littlefoot, and his mommy dies. I always thought I was Littlefoot. So I was always like, I'm so afraid. But no, it took me a couple of years to realize it was the other way around. I was a mother who had been grieving too many losses of children, was the other way around. And the way I found out that was when my little girl one day, she was lying down on me in the same way that little dinosaur would lie down on its mommy, and it finally clicked in my head. I had it wrong the other way around. But way back then, a couple of years ago, when I was really needing to feel, I watched that cartoon. And, I was all of my intellectual PhD student, Manson genius, brain, blah, 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 blah. All of that just melted. And I was just like, oh my God. Yeah, that's what it took. See, if I'm gonna think about it, I'll cry. That Diana Ross song. Oh, if we hold on together, that's a song I will never sing at karaoke because I will start to cry. So that's one of the That's one of the ways that you can get into that feeling, something that moves you so profoundly and deeply. Another thing that moves me is Moana. That touches onto so many profound themes in the collective psyche, especially for people who have had many lifetimes as priestesses. As you can imagine, I have. Let's just say I've been around the block. But that's something that really touches on some very old memories. And there's certain types of tears that when you cry, they unlock a certain space and feeling and presence. There's a certain kind of space and feeling and presence that you can't get through your mind. So if you don't know what following your heart is, if you don't know what following your heart is, these are some easy, well, I say easy, but some practical things that you can do to find it and to remember what that feels like, because we, all of us, doesn't matter where you live in the world now, you know society is trying to mold us into some kind of plastic, two-dimensional, hyper intellectual, technologically mediated avatar of ourselves that strips us away of our humanity. So coming back to these things really makes a difference. So, for me, it was stuff like this, and that little girl who just looked at me, and that was her way of showing love. She bowed, damn it. She bowed. I was like, she was there, I would have just bawled my eyes out. That's what I would have done. And so yeah, go with those experiences. Go with those experiences and radiate outwards. That's what I would say. But I'm just looking at comments. I'm just seeing if there are any questions here, though I am looking at everything. Okay. Yes. Yes. Um. Mm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. Good. But yeah, I would say that's probably wrapping it up. That's the best way I can describe what is happening now, and the way I can suggest to people that they can tap into this energy and love into being a reality that is worth having. Because right now, this reality sucks. We need to do better. We have to do better. And we need to remember what better looks like from here. Christina asks an interesting question. Would you say this would be able to heal the pain within the heart that may be a barrier from acting from the heart space? Absolutely. It'll be painful though. But Allison says Earth is ghetto. Well, unfortunately, ghetto is something that, so-called modern society has vilified, but I find that ghetto energy seems to have the most life and charm. So maybe there's something we can still work with from it. But yes, Christina, I would say pushing through those, it's like when I think about it, in my life, even though I'm technically biologically young, technically, there are some days where I just feel as old. My mind feels as old as a mountain. And I forget. Sometimes I have to like ask my brother, how old am I? And he'll just look at me. Yeah, sometimes, but with him, sometimes I'm five. So that's different. And sometimes I'm 5,000. But it's like, it just helps to come back. It come from this space of feeling. But through all of those experiences, this life and many lives, there's so many scars in the heart. And those scars don't have to be there permanently. But pushing through them and moving through them, as painful as it can be, is what actually allows the energetic equivalent of the heart more power, yes, but also more presence. But it's something that takes work. especially when you have wounds, when you have real pain. Everyone's got pain, yes, but some wounds cut a deeper than others. And yes, the Capricorns are coming out. Yes. You get it. You get it. Wichita Chick asks, is this shadow work? I wouldn't say so. I would say it's just what each of us should be doing as a given anyway. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I've been preparing you by suggesting the Heart Sutra. I've got to look up this song. So apparently, The Earth is Ghetto is a real song. I'm going to look it up. Thank you for the recommendation. And so, this is one of the reasons why I've been suggesting the Heart Sutra, because it's one of those frequencies that can prepare us to let us feel whatever we need to feel. So, if we need to feel joy, great. If we need to feel sorrow, great. If we need to feel acceptance, great. If we need to feel nothingness, also great. And that Heart Sutra gives us the ability to sit with equanimity with whatever does come. Now, Coyote Prophet wants to know, with a Taurus rising, how should he go about using this energy? Well, if you think about your rising sign, it is, yes, it's your personality. It's also anything above the neck. So obviously, look at your health, look at your throat, look at anything above the neck. But it's also about how you bring this awareness into your daily conscious personality, your actions, also to bring this awareness into your food in particular. Another than it's, and I thank Coyote Prophet for the question, because another thing that Taurus is also very focused upon is the voice. It's the voice. So work more so with the voice, whether it's deep breathing, whether it's singing. I've been doing a lot more singing. That's nice. Whether it's humming, it doesn't matter. Whether it's eating conscious foods, oh, well, not necessarily conscious foods, but eating foods consciously. You know what I mean? That would be a way of getting into this. And certainly doing physical work around, the cervical collar and so on and so forth. Time tea, especially for people who are having problems releasing and letting go of some of the emotional constrictions. Time tea can help a lot. That's THYME. So can the essential oil, but please always look at contraindications and be mindful of sensitive individuals and pets. So that's what you can also do. Yeah, lump in the throat vibe. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And don't be afraid if you feel blocked while doing this. Because if everyone was perfectly open, if everyone was perfectly in the flow, we wouldn't need to be having this conversation, and the world certainly would not be in this situation. Let's see. Samantha, no, no, that doesn't make a difference. Vernie, yes, that would apply to all signs, because these challenges are happening in Taurus and Aquarius for everybody. The difference is which house it is for you. But irrespective of what house Taurus is in, these are things that can help, irrespective. The only thing is if you're allergic to time tea. So let's see. Yep, yep. I would say that's about it. Thank you all for participating today. It's lovely to see all of you. When we do a hello neighbor, we can, chit chat a bit more. So I want to keep this fairly focused to the energy of now. And you can always listen to this video again, because there is just, we're going to be seeing the same energy multiple times over and over and over again till Valentine's Day. And then we're going to be seeing the Saturn and Uranus square. So it's just going to keep coming again and again and again. So very many blessings. Lots of love to all of you. For those of you who need some assistance in, getting through some blocks, sessions are still running. For those of you who want more in-depth information, there's the Tier 23 program. And for those of you who just need a little bit of guidance to get you on the right path, well, you know exactly where you are right now. So take care. Very many blessings, and ciao ciao for now. Bye-bye.